The 5 C's are commitment, communication, concentration, control, and confidence. And I developed the framework essentially to try to help coaches, players or athletes, parents and organisations to understand some of the important psychological and social qualities that we could help to develop in young people through sport. Commitment is the primary C. It's the first C in the framework, and commitment represents really the quality of an athlete's motivation, or the quality and resilience of their motivation. It's represented by an athlete who has a real drive for self-improvement, who has a hunger to master new challenges, who enjoys demonstrating effort and feels good about the effort that they put in to their sport and the learning that they gain from their sport. So commitment is a construct which is alive within young people, have a real intrinsic drive to challenge themselves and to improve. And so when we talk about commitment behaviours, then it's a player or an athlete who's really curious, enthusiastic. They're very well prepared, but more importantly, they show a consistency of effort and a prolonged level of effort and perseverance in training and in matches and competitions. They're someone who uses a learning lens to deal with and to brush off setbacks and mistakes, and they have this real hunger to review themselves after their matches and their performances, because they're always looking for feedback and always looking for information that helps them to improve themselves to be kind of better next time. Communication is the second C in the framework, and it represents the quality of an athlete or a player's kind of interpersonal skills and the way in which they spend time on developing relationships and positive relationships with others within the sport and around the sport, whether that be with teammates, whether that be with their coach or coaches, their parents, officials, and of course their relationships and their interactions with opponents as well. And communication in terms of this interpersonal C is about the way in which young athletes are able to both send information and receive information. So a person with good communication skills is someone who's going to be able to listen to a coach and listen to teammates and digest feedback well and spend time and show their attention to that. But they're also going to be someone who's going to give feedback, who's going to encourage their teammates, who's going to praise, who's going to provide information and opinion and share their thoughts and feelings with other people in ways which help their performance. So communication is this sending and receiving skill that we want to see from young people in terms of helping to manage their relationships and help them to resolve conflicts and relate better to everyone around them. Concentration is an athlete's ability to control and focus their attention on the right things at the right time. It's that ability to understand what type of cues matter for a particular task, be it within football, within tennis, where they have to focus their attention, where the head and the eyes need to be placed, for example. Things that are relevant to the performance are not irrelevant to the performance, like the weather or the crowd. They're able to switch on to the right cues at the right time. So before a match, they know to switch off from other distractions, maybe of the day, and switch on to the thing that matters to help their performance be at the best it can be before going into the match or going into the actual session itself. So what we see with players or athletes who've got good concentration skills is they have routines. They understand what routines and behaviours they need to do before a match or before a training session, within a match or training, and then after a match or training, that begins to maximise their performance on on the task itself, and they spend a lot of time thinking about their routines and the ways in which they can maintain and stay in the present within their performance, because that's what matters the most for the next performance to come. Control is like the brother or sister to concentration, because it's kind of the engine room of how you manage and regulate yourself as an athlete. And it's essentially kind of your ability to manage and control or channel your emotions that you feel because of the sport situations that you face. First of all, it's an ability to understand the different types of emotion that you experience in your sport and what that effects that has on you. It's then recognizing and understanding the strategies that are going to help you, with your emotion, and being an athlete who's able to use breathing, for example, to regulate their arousal levels, maybe use imagery and visualization to help themselves to calm down or to prepare themselves, for matches. And more importantly, able to use positive self-talk and able to encourage themselves and able to use more compassionate self-talk as a way of trying to inspire themselves for the next task or the next performance to come. So we're looking at individuals who have got and use a range of strategies to help them to understand, accept and manage their emotions in ways that help them to perform to the best of their ability at the present moment. But it's not just your own ability to manage and control emotions, it's also your intelligence to see emotions in others as well and have a degree of empathy and understanding of the emotions that could be bubbling up that you might see in teammates or even in opponents, and then acting upon that information. And certainly, for example, with teams, helping them to recover after mistake and helping a teammate to come back to the here and now, because you see them becoming angry, but actually you can remove themselves from that and communicate with them, which ties in with communication, to help them to respond better to the situation and be an effective teammate. Confidence is the final C, and we always see confidence as the quality of an athlete's self-belief for a given situation or in a given situation in sport. And of course, it's basically the accumulation, or the effects of it come from the strength of the other four C's. So, if you're an athlete or a player who has great motivation, who perseveres, who has a great attitude in terms of their effort and their learning, if they're a great communicator and are someone who helps other people, who acknowledges other people, who listens and praises their teammates, and a player who's got good concentration and self-control and knows how to manage their emotions by using different techniques to encourage themselves and to regain composure or stay composure, it's likely to end up with a high level of self-belief as a player if you are able to demonstrate those qualities. And so I think we see confidence in players who show those other qualities, but we also see a confident player or an athlete as someone who is able to always be engaged within a match right to the end. They're always trying to find a way. They're always trying to look for opportunities to get back into a match. They're always someone who is trying to lead themselves by example, but also lead others by example as well, and bring them with you, as an athlete. A confident player is always someone who's prepared to lose in order to learn. So someone who understands that they have to practice new skills under pressure, even if they might make mistakes, and even if they might, the win or the result might not go their way, but actually the result is a success because they've practiced new skills, which they know they need to learn in the long term. So that's a hallmark of a confident individual, because they're able to, they're prepared to actually forgo a result because of the long-term gain, that they get from playing that way.